Laker fans, how about that freaking game? It's your host, Jimmy Crowther, here for the Lakers Report, breaking down the 103-101 W over the Los Angeles Clippers. Man, what an amazing opening game we got to see between LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the Lakers, and then Kawhi Leonard, PG, and the LA Clippers. Good Lord. Basketball is officially back, and I cannot tell you how much fun I had watching that game. Obviously, we got a nice little appetizer with the Utah Jazz and New Orleans Pelicans. That was a fun one to watch for sure, but everyone was just waiting for this game, and it delivered. So I'm going to break down the box score. I'm going to talk about what looked good, what looked bad, who looked good, who looked bad, and really just get excited about the rest of this season because, man, that's one hell of a way to kick it off. I am your host, as always, like I said, Jimmy Crowther. If you're not following me on Twitter yet, go follow me at Jimmy_Crowther, CROWTHER. Real easy to find. I'll put it in the link of this, I'll put the link in the description of this podcast. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're doing some more post-game podcasts on a regular basis here on the Lakers Report. And if you want to get some questions in there, if you want to watch, listen to more of these, just let us know in the comments section. I'm going to be going live on NBA, on Chat Sports, on the main channel tomorrow afternoon at 2:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 12:30 Pacific Time. So make sure you tune in and you can get all your Lakers questions answered live on air. You're not going to want to miss that, but we're focusing on the game here. So let me break down the box score and then we'll talk about how amazing this game was. For the Los Angeles Lakers, leading the way was Anthony Davis with 34 points, 4 assists, and 8 rebounds. He went 8 of 19 from the field and 16 of 17 from the free throw line. LeBron James, the second leading scorer at 16 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. He also had 2 blocked shots and a steal. Kyle Kuzma, that third piece, delivered tonight with 16 points and 7 rebounds. He also had 2 assists. He was a plus 12 in the box score, which was the second best plus minus behind Bubble Cheese, baby. And you know what to do when you hear Bubble Cheese in the video. You put that cheese emoji down in the comment section. Dion Waiters, that is, 11 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. He went 5 of 10 from the field and was a plus 17 in 21 minutes of action. There were 3 guys that scored 6 points, but before them, Alex Caruso had 7 points in 28 minutes, 3 of 6 from the free throw line, 2 of 7 from the field, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Meanwhile, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Danny Green, and JaVale McGee all with 6 points apiece. Markieff Morris played 3 minutes, did not score. Dwight Howard played 13 minutes, only had 1 point, and J.R. Smith played 8 minutes, no points for him, 0 of 1 from the field, ultimately resulting in a 103-101 win for the the LA Lakers, not the Clippers. Screw them. The only players that didn't play for the Lakers tonight was Jared Dudley and Quinn Cook. Also, the two-way guys did not get any action. Meanwhile, the LA Clippers, on the other hand, 28 points from Kawhi Leonard, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 steals. Paul George led the way for them with 30 points and 5 rebounds, 3 steals, and 3 assists as well. Patrick Beverley had 12 points, Pat Patterson 5 points. JaMychal Green had 8 points, but he also had 5 personal fouls. Reggie Jackson with 10 points. He got the start over Patrick Beverley tonight. And then Marcus Morris, who the Clippers hilariously traded a first pick for, did not score in 19 minutes of action and had 3 rebounds and 2 turnovers and 4 fouls. When you got more fouls than points and you got more turnovers than points, you're not having a very good night and you're not worth a first-round pick. That's Marcus Morris for you. Amir Coffey played 5 minutes. He knocked down his second career three-pointer for the LA Clippers with 3 points. And then Landry Shamet in 22 minutes of action was absolutely useless. 2 points, minus 19 in the box score, 0 of 5 from 3, 1 of 8 from the field. Jonathan Motley, Rodney Magruder, and Terrence Mann did not play for the Clippers. So that's your box score from the 103-101 win over the Clippers. Let's break down this game a little bit more and go player by player and really talk about what the difference was here between the Clippers and the Lakers. Man, let's talk about him. Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is the reason the Lakers were so good in the first half of this game. Really just the first quarter, honestly. Again, 34 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. What a night from AD. And here's the thing. If the Clippers and the Lakers meet in the first round, nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to be able to guard that guy, especially, golly, I mean, he was getting rebounds at will. He was bullying people down low. But not only that, man, when it was crunch time and when it came down to it, he was hitting his three-pointers. He went 2 of 5 from 3. Both of those threes came in at, what was it, like a minute-long stretch in the third quarter in which the Lakers started to trail. He brought them back with those three-pointers and just revitalized this team. Man, if MVP voting was based on these seeding games, and he does this every single night, he would probably finish above LeBron James, if I'm being honest. I mean, I really think he could do that just based on this game, but it doesn't count, so I don't think he will, obviously. But golly, I mean, Anthony Davis was just on another level tonight, and nobody can guard him. He got to the free throw line 17 times. He took 17 shots from the free throw line. He made 16 of 17 of those. There's nobody on this team. Ivica Zubac, get the freak out of here. You're not going to guard Anthony Davis. Marcus Morris is trash on defense, apparently. And nobody else on that Clipper team has any shot at guarding him. Now, do remember Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell were out, but Montrezl Harrell is not that great of a defensive big man. He's not guarding Anthony Davis like that. I mean, 34 points. What a night from AD. But let's talk about the real difference maker here. The true difference maker of this game. It was LeBron James. I mean, I'm speechless watching him at the end of that game. Now, here's the thing, and I'm going to say this early, and I'm going to say it right now because I know a lot of people are thinking this. A lot of Laker fans know this. Early on in the game, he didn't look good. I tweeted it out. I mean, LeBron did not look like his normal self. He didn't look like a top 2, top 3 MVP candidate. And that's just the facts. I mean, he was looking way too passive. And although he got a lot of good assists, he had 7 assists, looking way too passive, not attacking the basket, not taking shots where they were just sagging off of him. And it was really frustrating to watch. But then all of a sudden it comes down to crunch time, and LeBron turns that gear. And he says, I'm going to go out, I'm going to get a bucket, I'm going to make plays, I'm going to win this game for my team. So he scores 16 points, he gets 11 boards, he has 7 assists. And the end of the game, the last 2 possessions is where he focused in and turned it on. LeBron drives to the bucket, misses a layup off the front of the rim, gets his own rebound and finger rolls it. No, it wasn't a layup. He missed a floater off the front of the rim, then gets his own own rebound. Man, I'm all over the place. I'm just so hyped about that game. Gets his own rebound, finger rolls it over the front of the rim, gives the Lakers a 2-point lead. Come down the other end, 12 seconds left to go. Kawhi Leonard has the ball. LeBron James is guarding Kawhi Leonard, a top 5, top 3 player in the NBA. He gets screened off of Kawhi Leonard, switches onto Paul George, another superstar on this Lakers team, because Kawhi has to give the ball up because of how good of defense LeBron is playing. And LeBron switches on to Paul George and forces him into a terrible shot in which Paul George cries his way into trying to get a foul call, because that was the only play Doc Rivers could come up with, was drawing a foul to win that game, and it did not work. LeBron James showed out, and he really just turned on the Jets on defense and just put his foot on the Clippers' throat there at the end of the game. I mean, the difference maker. If you can't perform in the beginning of the game, we'll forgive you, LeBron, as long as you come through in the clutch. And LeBron James came through in the clutch. He made 2 3-pointers, and both of those came in critical stretches in the third quarter. It was a sloppy game, but we'll talk about more of the overall game here in just a minute. I want to keep going through a couple of these individual players. Kyle Kuzma. Let's talk about him, because if he goes to another level like he did tonight and scores 16 points, gets 7 rebounds, and goes 4 of 7 from 3, that takes his team to another level. Now, there were plays tonight, I'm going to say it too, there were plays tonight in the first half of the game where Kyle Kuzma he had tunnel vision, and he was chucking up shots, and it didn't look good, and it looked like he was about to really, he basically helped blow a lead for the Lakers in that first half of the game. But he made up for it, and he came through, and he was a consistent 3-point shooter, and he scored the ball and he rebounded the ball so well. Now, remember, the thing about Kyle Kuzma is he wasn't fully healthy at the beginning of the year. So now he's 110%, and I think we're going to see the best version of Kyle Kuzma. And if that's 16 and 7 every single night, he is the third piece for this team off of the bench. A great night for Kyle Kuzma, really encouraged by what I saw from him in the second half. First half, not so much. I have my complaints about that first half. But the second half of Kyle Kuzma, when it really mattered, he stepped up. Looked good. We'll talk about one more guy that I loved watching tonight. Actually, let's talk about 2 more. Sorry, guys. I'm hyped up about this game. Dion Waiters, a.k.a. Bubble Cheese. he was a big part of the third quarter not going down in flames because it almost looked like it was, but he made some plays and he got to the basket and really his experience shined, and that was so important for this Laker team. I'm not going to focus on him too much, but just know that the Lakers do have a gem in him, and they're going to be able to truly use him when it's needed and call upon him when they need a bucket, because that's what he is. He's a bucket getter. That's what Bubble Cheese does. That's what he's going to continue to do. That's what he did in this first game. And last and most certainly not least, Alex Caruso. Now, offensively, he didn't do a whole lot. I mean, he got to the free throw line 6 times, but he only made 3 of those. You got to make your free throws, Alex. That's all right. We'll forgive you because his defense was stellar. His defensive hustle was incredible. With 48 seconds left in the game, he stole the ball, he played the passing lane perfectly, and he triggered a fast break by saving the ball in bounds. It was a great play, and it was something that not a lot of players on this team are going to do, but he did it, and he does the dirty work, and he gets hyped up about it, and that gets his teammates hyped up, and that pushes them to another level. So a lot of great performances tonight. Obviously, Anthony Davis was the leader, but LeBron James in the clutch stepped up huge. Let's talk about this game as a whole, and then we'll get out of here from this rapid reaction podcast. Listen, the game was ugly. I mean, I'll say that first and foremost. The game was ugly. It looked like a game where the players are still knocking off rust. You know, they had 3 scrimmages, but now you get your first real game under your belt. It was ugly. It wasn't pretty. But a win is a win. You put a W in the win column, and that's all that matters, you know? So I'll take this. Here's my biggest thing. The one thing about this game that I can honestly say didn't love. Well, a few things. But number one, the Clippers didn't have a combined 36 points in this game, with 18 points from Montrezl Harrell and 18 points from Lou Williams. If Lou and Montrezl Harrell are playing in this game, I'm not 100% sure the Lakers win it. Now, that doesn't matter that much because the Lakers did win it, and that's what really matters right now, but you got to be better. You can't blow a 12-point lead in the first quarter like that, because that's what they did. And if you didn't hear me, I snapped. That's a snap in the microphone. That's how fast they blew that lead. And if Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell are in there, I don't think the Lakers have a 12-point lead in the first quarter, which means they don't have a chance to blow a lead, which means the Lakers take the lead earlier on and just kind of push pedal to the metal. Now, it didn't happen tonight, but if it happens later on, if the Lakers and Clippers meet later and the Lakers do what they did in the second quarter, which was blow this lead, and Montrez and Lou Williams are there, that spells trouble for the Lakers. So definitely something I wanted to pay attention to there. Not a great look. However, the Lakers overcame it. And when the crunch time lineup was in there, it worked to perfection. They had Alex Caruso in there at the end of the game along with LeBron, AD, Danny Green, KCP was mixed in there as well. And that's really what it's going to look like against a team like the Clippers. A lot of turnovers tonight, but I think that comes with knocking off the rust. LeBron James be a little bit more aggressive in the first half. Other than that, man, what a win and what a way to kick off this season. Notching their 50th win of the year. The Lakers now sit at 50-14, firmly in first place in the Western Conference, and the Clippers kind of back off a little bit. Not that they were ever going to catch them, not that it was even close, but the Clippers now 6.5 games back of that number 1 seed, only 1 game ahead of the Denver Nuggets for the 2 seed, and the Los Angeles Lakers ain't nobody catching them, especially if they keep winning games like this one. It's always important to win the close ones, and that's what the Lakers did. So Laker fans, I appreciate you tuning into this rapid reaction post-game podcast. As always, interact with me in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought of this game, what you liked, what you didn't like. If you've got any Laker questions, make sure to tune into that live Q&A tomorrow, or put the questions down in the comment section. I will answer all of them. Make sure you're following me on Twitter at Jimmy_Crowther. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that like button if you liked this Laker win, and I'll talk to you next time, Laker fans.